what about the Craft Academy stood out to you and why did you decide to join that one?
I love taking courses and learning, but what really stood out from those courses to your course was the coaching calls, that one-on-one support. I mean, like I said, I can Google some stuff and I can learn it, but having that support from everyone, it's a major deal for me. Our emotions when we own a business go up and down. And sometimes if you're in the down and you have nobody to, that you can approach or that you can talk about, then we come to the coaching calls and we have that constant support. And I love that.
So how early is too early to invest in a mentor or in your calligraphy business? To that I say it's never too early. And the reason why is because you actually want to set a really solid foundation for your business to actually build upon so that you can actually get to your goals much faster. Today, I'm sitting down with Blanca Lewis from Blanca Lewis Calligraphy, who actually invested really early in her calligraphy business journey. Her business was about 6 months old when she joined the Craft Academy, and she kept telling me I think it's too early, Rosie, I think it's too early. But I convinced her to join the program and invest in herself and in her business journey really early. And a little less than 8 months later, she's actually been able to hit 10K months consistently. And now she's actually pursuing her business full time. Hello, my name is Rosie, and I'm a former pharmacist turned full-time calligrapher and calligraphy business coach. I've actually helped over 150 calligraphers build, scale, and automate their calligraphy businesses so that they are no longer feeling frustrated with their calligraphy business, but actually flourishing and living the life that they desire. Ever since I started my business in 2017, I have made countless mistakes and wasted so much time and energy trying to figure things out by myself. After finally sitting down and being super intentional about my business, I was able to transform my business from stagnant into a flourishing business. And now I have made it my life's mission to do the same for fellow artists. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button along with the bell so that you can get notified every single time I post a brand new video. Hey, hello everyone, and welcome. So I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. Her name is Blanca from Blanca Lewis Calligraphy. She is an amazing and talented calligrapher. She's also one of the sweetest people in the program who continues to give back every single day, and she's on our coaching calls almost every week, which is awesome. So we did do an interview back in, what was it, Blanca, 10, almost 11 months ago?
Yeah, it was April of last year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's over a year then.
Over a year.
So if you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to watch that first interview. Blanca is actually interviewing me, which is pretty cool. But Blanca is a calligrapher who joined the program when her business was only 6 months old. And we get a lot of people who are still brand new in the industry wondering if it's too early to invest in the program or in their business. As Blanca, has demonstrated, investing in your business really early makes a huge difference to make sure that you are setting the right foundations for your business. So we're definitely going to dive into that a little bit more. But before that, Blanca, give us a quick introduction on yourself and your journey to entrepreneurship.
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Blanca, and I'm the calligrapher behind Blanca Lewis Calligraphy. I started learning calligraphy during the pandemic. Having a little bit extra time on my hands. I did a lot of, probably like everyone else, I did a lot of cooking, decluttering, and I started doing some creative things. I did drawing, painting parties with my friends. I did embroidery and calligraphy, but that stuck the most. And at the beginning of 2021, I decided to really learn pointed pen. And very quickly, I got the idea that I really wanted to do it as a business for some reason. And in August of 2021, I launched my first website, and I consider that the beginning of what my business is right now.
Yeah. So it took about 1.5 years to learn and then start the business with a full-on website already, which I think is awesome. And then 6 months later, you joined the Craft Academy. Tell me, what do you specialize in right now?
I do calligraphy, engraving, and bottle painting. Mainly, I do live events, but I also do in-studio commissions.
Okay, awesome. And who's your favorite brand or live event that you've done so far?
I have to say it's Cartier.
Of course, Cartier.
Yeah, it's a big brand.
Yeah, why was that your favorite?
Both times that I've worked with them, it's been calligraphy, live and also in studio. And I love doing calligraphy, and it was just a really neat event. It was a VIP event, very luxurious, and it just was fun.
So let's do a quick summary of your timeline. We kind of said it already, but you started learning calligraphy in 2020, started your website and your business in August of 2021. Then you joined the Craft Academy in February of 2022. So it's been a little bit over a year now. When do you feel like you started seeing results?
I want to say I started seeing results almost immediately, Rosie. It could sound that it's impossible, but it is. It is.
Mm-hmm. Why do you feel like you got results so quickly?
One, because I really jumped into the modules. Your modules are great, and it's a lot of information, and it has, you have really, I'm forgetting the word, but you have like a system where you can jump in whatever you are in your business. But I did put a lot of work. I watched all the videos immediately, and I started doing the work, and I joined the calls too, which actually feel that helped me a lot. I learned not only of the questions that I might have, but I learned from everybody else that joins and puts.
Yeah. So it's almost like, having a well laid out program that touches on each of the different stages of your business, so you can jump around to whatever you want. And then on top of that, you have accountability meetings. So, you've done really well for this whole almost year and a half. Like, you've come into our coaching calls almost every week. Even if you're at work, you're like tuning in. So it's always great to like have you there, have you contribute, even you just being there to listen and get inspiration from the students who are on the call. That makes a huge difference, right? Like having a community.
It does make a huge difference. Like you're saying, owning a business has a lot of up and downs, mostly emotionally. I feel, your mind plays games with you. And I feel that staying in or joining the coaching calls really refreshes me. It really balances me. So I'm not alone doing this. There's other people going through whatever I'm going through. And like you said, I don't participate every single time. I'm just listening in, but that really helps me and keeps me focused. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And it's awesome just being like having you there. It doesn't even feel like a meeting. It just feels like a bunch of calligraphers coming to hang out and brainstorm what their next business stage is going to be, which is really fun for me.
It is pretty funny. My husband even says sometimes I brainstorming something and he's like, well, just ask the girls.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I think one time he was listening in while you were in the kitchen cooking dinner and he's like, yes, queen, yes.
Yes. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's practically part of the Craft Academy. So.
He listens in.
I love it. Well, so let's talk about what your daily life and schedule looked like prior to joining the Craft Academy. Like, what did your life and business look like when you first started Blanca Lewis Calligraphy?
Well, it looked really open, Rosie, because I had a full-time job. I work in a dental office. I still do a couple of days a week. I do billing and insurance, which is totally different from this. But calligraphy related, I really wasn't doing that much. In fact, I was just thinking prior to our conversation today, I was just thinking when I launched my business in August, I only had done a very few small projects, commissions. I only say that I started my business in August because I launched the website. And that's when I literally started putting myself out there. In opposite, the other people, they start doing stuff for their friends and this and that. I didn't. I was doing just very few things. So calligraphy related, my schedule was pretty open. Didn't have too much.
I think I always think back to this story because when we first talked, you were so hesitant to join the Craft Academy because one, it was too early for you in the business. Two, you didn't want to make this your full-time job. Like like I always think back to that conversation because you're like, I never want to quit my full-time job. I love my job. I want to stay in this forever. Blanca Lewis Calligraphy is always going to be a side hustle. Yeah. And then literally like less than a year later, you're like, I want to make this my full-time job.
Yes, because it is fun. When you're doing something that you love, that saying that, if you don't work a day if you do what you love. It is kind of true. It is a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but it is just really fulfilling to do what you love and get paid for it. So as my business has grown, and I didn't think it was going to grow as it did, now I'm considering maybe I went down to 2 days a week. That kind of helps. And it gives me more time to do my business.
Yeah. So take us back to like our initial call. What made you want to invest in the Craft Academy, even though you had multiple things working against you?
Well, first, I started doing different courses when we talked the first time. So I thought, you know what? I don't have the money to invest on this right now. It seems pretty cool, but I already have tools and I think I can figure it out on my own. Like I was telling you, I already had launched my website. I started getting a few commissions out of my own, website. So I thought, this is just, and then the money, I just thought I can't invest that. I'm not making money to spend money on this. So those were the reasons why I just was very hesitant to join. And also, honestly, I think I said this to you before, mindset, thinking that I had to hire a coach. Just the thought of that, for me, it was just not, it was embarrassing. Let me put it that way. It was embarrassing to say, oh, I have a coach. It was just weird. I don't know if it's cultural. I'm not sure, but just the thought of having a coach was not pleasant to me, if that makes sense.
How has that perspective changed for you?
Oh, definitely 180 a change, because we need the help, and it's just, it doesn't feel like I know it is a coaching program, but it's not like a coach where I don't know how to explain it, but it is totally different. And even at the beginning when I joined, I wouldn't say I had joined because it was embarrassing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that has completely changed. Wherever I go, I say that I'm, whatever other calligrapher that I'm talking to, yeah, I'm very happy to say that I'm working with you.
Yay! Yeah, I feel like when you hire a coach, you're not necessarily admitting that you're like weak or admitting defeat. It's more like, how do I save time? How do I make time? How do I buy time? Right. That's essentially what having a coaching program or coach does for you, is that you get to shortcut your beginning to your definition of success and take that timeline and condense it, right? So that you can actually reach it. For you were able to see results right away. You were able to hit 5-figure months that following holiday season, which is incredible, because for me, I didn't hit a 5-figure month until probably 4 years into the business, right? And so literally you saved 3 years of hardship and trying to figure it out because you hired someone who had already gone through the thing and created a program that works.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the reasons, I was just like, I can't really figure it out. It just felt like I was splurging instead of investing. Like, what a waste of money. I can do this on my own. I can do my own research and really figure it out. But when I started having a few leads from my own website, and it had already been about 6 months, and I got a really good lead from a luxury brand, I remember early in February, and I thought, you know what, in 6 months, there's something that I'm doing right, but I could be doing better, and I'm wasting time. So that's why I decided, no, I'm definitely, I sat down with my husband, I talked about it because it was an investment, and he said to me, honey, it takes money to make money. If this is going to give back to you, just go for it. And I did.
Yeah. And I think one of my favorite stories with that, honestly, I love your husband. He's like the number one supporter. Didn't you also say that you had saved up for 2 things, or you had enough money for one investment, which was either iEmpath or the Craft Academy? Yes. And then what happened after that?
I had been saving everything that I had been, all the gigs that I was getting. I was saving that to go to iEmpath last year. So when I got the idea that I wanted to join, I thought, darn, I have the money, but it's either I go to iEmpath and maybe join later, or I just join and skip iEmpath this year. I can do it next year. And this is where, I had the conversation, and he's like, well, you're going to get a lot more back if this is going to be an investment for you. So he convinced me, and I joined mid-February. And then within, I think, March, when iEmpath opened, or April, when they opened their schedule and everything, I was already making back what I had already invested, that I was able to actually go to iEmpath. By the time I went to iEmpath, I already had enough to pay for our trip, to make it a business expense.
Yeah. So you were able to, just so I have this straight, you were able to pay off the Craft Academy investment and go to iEmpath. And didn't you also pay for your husband?
Yeah. He was my assistant.
Yeah. That's just within 2 months of joining. That's amazing.
Well, I had enough to join IAMPITH, and I had when the schedule came up from IAMPITH, I was like, you know what? I'm making back what I invested. By the time I went to IAMPITH in June, which was just a few months, I was able to actually cover everything, which it's amazing.
Yay! So proud of you. Literally, that's like probably one of my favorite stories. And I'm honestly just really happy that you did decide to join, just because you have made such dramatic growth in such a short amount of time. And like the fact that you're now considering going full-time and you're making strides to go full-time, that makes me really, really happy. Like I like to say we're in a group of quitters, and eventually you're going to quit your full-time job.
I know. And honestly, I've talked to my husband this many times. I could probably quit, and my time will be well spent, and I know I could do it. But I love my work, and I have emotional attachment that I can't say, okay, I'm done. But I could if I wanted to, and we'll see what happens in a few months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for you, honestly. It's obviously your decision, your choice, whatever works best for you and your family. Like, I trust you to make that decision, but I support you either way. And I'm really excited that you are considering going full time.
Yeah, thanks, Rosie.
So take us back to like when you were still considering, what was like the biggest difference? Because I know you've invested in several courses. What about the Craft Academy stood out to you, and why did you decide to join that one instead?
I love taking courses and learning, not only for my craft, but also I was learning, the business side of it. But what really stood out from those courses to your course was the coaching calls, that one-on-one support. It sounded very appealing to me. And now that, once I joined, I can see day and night the difference, it's day and night, because you can have all the information. I mean, like I said, I can Google some stuff and I can learn it, but having that backup and support from everyone, it's a major deal for me. I said this already earlier, but our emotions when we own a business go up and down. And sometimes if you're in the down and you have nobody to, that you can approach or that you can talk about, or there's a gig that you don't know how to handle, then we come to the coaching calls and we have that constant support. And I love that. So that's why I just keep coming to the coaching calls as much as I can.
Yeah, community is definitely huge, right? Like that was one of the things that that was on like the vision board when I created the Craft Academy, because I know the value of community, not just getting the information from the coach, but also pulling from hundreds of other amazing, beautiful, talented brains when you have that question, right? Because there's always a reason for you to not do something, for you to talk yourself down from a rate. Maybe someone calls you on the phone, like maybe a client calls you on the phone and you're like not ready to handle it because you haven't gone through that conversation enough. Right. That's what we do in our coaching calls, is we prepare you for that and try to get you to think outside the box and make sure that if you are in that situation, you're not being taken advantage of.
Yeah. And sometimes we know what to do, but we don't feel fully brave, I guess, to do it. I remember I had a luxury brand contacted me and wanted different things. And I immediately, and this is what I'm saying about the one-on-one support, I immediately sent you a DM and I'm like, Rosie, this brand contacted me. This is what they want. And this is what I'm thinking to charge. And you told me to charge almost double, I think, or triple of what I had in mind. And I was like, that's crazy. I can't do that. I can't. But I gave, I put my faith into it and I'm like, okay, you've dealt with this many times and I just trust you. And my quote was accepted. So I could have, lost on that if I hadn't listened to you. And again, I knew maybe I could have gotten more, but I just was afraid to charge a little bit more. But that one-on-one support is just priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, you talked about it earlier, but mindset is a huge factor in being an entrepreneur, because even if there is information laid out, like we have the pricing recommendations and the calculator already available for you that you can look up. Sometimes you put in those numbers and you're like, there's no way I can charge this.
Right.
Like, that's a lot of money. No one's going to pay this. I wouldn't be able to afford that, but you are not your ideal client. right?
Right.
You can't, like, I wouldn't pay $1,000 for calligraphy because I don't have that kind of budget for
No,
that.
yeah,
Also, I would just do it myself anyway. But, when you are the business owner in that situation, it's so easy for you to convince yourself that you're not worthy of that money.
Right.
You're not worthy of getting paid that much.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that I've learned this through all the mindset modules that you have, and throughout the other interviews that you've had. Sometimes you're really not saying that to yourself. You're not saying, "Oh, I'm not worth it. I have to charge this." You're not saying those words per se, but you're telling yourself other things like, "Oh, there's no way somebody's going to pay that." Even though you're not saying them, you are saying them, if that makes sense. Yeah, mindset, it's a big deal. And this, I think that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to have a business, because in my mind, a business was a struggle, a lot of hard work, very little payback. It was just too much to handle. And through all the mindset modules, I have shifted my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What other mindset shifts did you have to make in this journey?
Money for sure was a big one for me. I just had a lot of lids covering me, to charge more or to do more. One other thing that stands up for me, it's that because I didn't go through things that other business owners have gone through, when I watch the interviews and I think, man, this calligrapher has been doing it for such a long time, and there's no way I can compare myself and charge what this other person is charging, because I was really thinking about this. It just feels unfair. It just feels like, I have to charge less because I have less experience. So that really had to change in my mind. And thankfully, I'm trying. I'm working on that.
Yeah, and now you're one of the ones who are leading that charge in the Bay Area. So that is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that, like, especially new calligraphy business owners, they have that comparison syndrome where they compare themselves to people who are more established in the industry. But what they don't realize is that that person also started at zero. Everyone starts at zero. What makes the difference is how much you actually commit to it anyway. Improve your craft, improve your entrepreneurship mindset, and actually do the thing instead of letting that fear overcome you and prevent you from doing anything in the first place.
Yeah, right. I think that a lot of us think, oh, I've only been doing it for a year, and this person who has been doing it for a long time is charging, I don't know, $200 an hour. I can't charge that. Maybe I should charge $125 or $150, because maybe in a year I can charge $200, but not now. So I think that we have those struggles, and that is something that we have to change, because we're doing the same thing.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So after joining the Craft Academy, what do you feel like has been the biggest change in your business since you started the program?
My workflow, I think my workflow for sure. Like I said, I've only done a handful of jobs before I started, and I had gotten a handful after my website launch, but now I have a goal, and I've been meeting my goal every month. I have consistent work, and that's been the biggest change.
Amazing. So one of the things that I love doing with these interviews is get down to the nitty-gritty of your business and talk numbers. What was your income looking like prior to joining the Craft Academy, and what does it look like now? And you don't have to get super specific, but just give us like a ballpark.
Well, 2021, I probably did just a little bit over $1,000, let's say, within the whole, from August to December. So it wasn't a lot for, a few months. Maybe what was that, like maybe like $250 a month or something. It was just a little bit. And then 2022 was a complete change for me in that I did a lot more than that.
I mean, we did talk about you hitting 5-figure months. So that's just to give an idea about how much things have changed. She was able to exponentially grow her business from $1,000 in a year to 5-figure months.
That's
so
funny.
That's incredible. Like that's almost like 20x, 30x times what your previous was. So that's awesome.
It was a huge difference, Rosie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like you feel like a real business now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I try not to say I'm a small business owner. I try to remove that from my saying. There's no small, it's business. I have to treat it like that.
Yeah, because if you and your brain say that you are a small business, then your brain keeps you as a small business, and it's continuing to grow every single year.
Yeah.
How does 2023 look for you so far?
It's been looking great. In March, I went to 2 days a week of my work I was telling you, and I set myself a goal for every month. Thankfully, I've been meeting my goal and exceeding it sometimes. So yeah, it's been looking really good.
Yeah.
I was comparing it to my first 2 quarters to what I did 2022, and it was like I was almost at 60 or 70% of what I had done last year. So in the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference.
You're expected to hit like 1.5, maybe double what you did in 2022.
Maybe.
You've already hit 75% of like what you did last year in the first 6 months of the year. So let's just leave it at that. So that is amazing. Congratulations, Blanca. I'm super happy for you. I'm very proud of you for making that progress. So one of the things that I love talking about in these interviews is tactical information. This is particularly for people who are already in the Craft Academy, but people who have not joined yet, because we still want to provide value to our for our listeners and things like that. If you could give a piece of tactical advice, what would that be for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think I would say, if anyone is out there that's a new calligrapher or learning, charge your worth. Just because you're a newer business doesn't mean that you have to underprice. That will just only devalue your services, and it will be harder for you to go from charging here to here. Just keep it close to what others in your area are charging. Charge your worth. I'm not saying if you're still working on it and you need to get your skills better, but yeah, charge your worth.
What advice would you give to someone who is thinking about investing in themselves?
I probably would take my husband's words and just tell them the same thing. It takes money to make money. You can definitely find answers on Google and Google a lot of stuff, but it will save you priceless time, and your investment will definitely pay off. So I would probably say just trust yourself.
I think what's also important is that when you're Googling things and going on YouTube, there's not a lot of like calligraphy specific information out there to build a calligraphy business, right? So you're trying to take these YouTube videos and blogs and try to adapt them to the calligraphy business. What's awesome about the Craft Academy is that I've already done that for you because I've done it myself.
Right.
So you're really shortcutting all of that and not having to apply different lessons from different industries. You're on the straight and narrow path of like calligraphy business success, and that is what I'm like the most proud of.
Yeah.
The last thing, last question that I ask everyone: what would you tell yourself in 2021, knowing what you know now?
I would tell myself just to go for it. Don't be afraid. It will pay off for sure, and just do it.
Just do it. Trust yourself. You got this.
Yeah, trust yourself.
Love it, Blanca. Okay, so you've had amazing successes so far. You've worked for Cartier, Jo Malone, Dior, Tiffany & Co., Louis Vuitton, like so many amazing, beautiful brands. What are you working on next with Blanca Lewis Calligraphy, and how is the Craft Academy helping you with that?
Well, I'm considering, making it full-time at some point in the near future, and definitely the support of the coaching post help, and your tactics, Rosie, to make sure that I have a flowing income, helps. I would also add different services to my live events, and I would definitely love, I'm sorry, I have a baby puppy just crying in the background. And I would also love to actually come up with a course. And you have an amazing program on the side of the Craft Academy that I can take advantage of, that we can take advantage of here in the Craft Academy. And I would love to do something like that and share my passion, and also create some passive income.
Yes,
for sure.
Love it. Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit of what you think your course is going to be about?
I'm thinking calligraphy only because I feel that I would love to teach on the style that I would have liked to learn and implement some things that I would have liked, to have available. So I'm thinking calligraphy, but yeah.
Yay, amazing. Super excited to help you with that journey. I always love, creating passive income. So I fully support you on that. Where can people find you if they want to learn from you and hear more about your story?
My website, blancalewis.com, and they can find me on Instagram, Blanca Lewis Calligraphy. Those are the main things that I use.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So if you have any questions or want to hear more about Blanca's story, I highly encourage you to reach out to her on Instagram. Send her a DM. She's super friendly, literally one of the most friendliest people I've ever talked to online. Can't wait to meet you in person one day. And then same goes for me. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, I am literally on it all day, every day. So please feel free to send me a DM at Wandercrafter. Send me a DM there, or if you want quick customized advice for your calligraphy business, please feel free to go to wandercrafter.com/quiz. It's a brand new resource that I've created not only for the Craft Academy, but it's also available for everyone online as well. So if you want to learn more about where you are in your business and how you can apply some of these methods, it gives you quick customized advice on what you can do next to take your business to the next level. And it's completely free. All you have to do is go to wandercrafter.com/quiz. And if you feel like you are ready to take your business to the next level, please apply for the Craft Academy. Or even if you want to learn more about the Craft Academy, please feel free to make an appointment with us. It's wandercrafter.com/apply. You can make an appointment with me and my team and talk to a real life human being, and we can talk about your specific business and just ultimately learn more about you as a business owner. So I think that concludes it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming on and listening live with us. Thank you so much, Blanca, for coming on as well. I'm super happy to catch up with you and share your story. You are an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosie. Thanks, everyone.
Yay, perfect. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.